Oh, this is super exciting for me. We have an icon in the Airbnb industry. This is Eveylyn Badia, who has The Hosting Journey, which is a podcast. It's a YouTube show, and she has a Facebook group by the same name. I know, it's amazing. And what she does all day, every day, is she dives into the psyche of the hosts that are hosting all of these different Airbnbs and vacation rentals around the globe. She is amazing at what she does and what she knows. She's also a host, but not just a regular host. She's a super host, which means she's at the very upper echelon of all of the hosts that are out there, and she has to meet a certain criteria in order to be in that space. So joining us today to answer all of our questions, please help me welcome Eveylyn Badia.
Hi. So thank you for having me, Angela. It is such a pleasure to finally for us to be together. My name is Eveylyn, and I've been an Airbnb host since 2010, before Airbnb was a verb.
You are not just a host, you are a super host. Tell the listeners that are new to hosting what a super host is and what you have to do to earn that status.
They keep changing the criteria. So I know right now you cannot have cancellations. You have to have hosted over 10 trips. You have to have a certain percentage of reviews that had to be 5 stars, at least 4.8, I believe is the percentage. And you have to have a commitment to your guests. And look, I think what happens as a super host, we have this criteria of what we want to deliver to our guests. And everybody strives to become a super host. But then the question becomes, do your guests know what is a super host? Because not everybody does.
Well, there are a lot of house cleaners, and I get asked this question about 30 times a day. House cleaners want to be in the house cleaning, working with properties and working with hosts, and they want to know, how do they connect with hosts? And so is it different connecting with a super host as it is with just a regular host?
I used to do my own cleaning for many years, and we're very particular. We're very meticulous because you're not cleaning just a house, right? There's a difference between you cleaning for somebody like a family, and that, let's say, for example, like, oh, it's okay that I'm late, or it's okay, like, oh, I'm sick and I didn't show up, I'm going to come tomorrow. No, that doesn't play well with us. With us, it's like, if we tell you to be there at 11, I want you there at 10:45. Well, at 11, because that's when the guests are leaving. But I need you to be there on time. And also, we might want you to have a little bit of design attitude, sort of like, we're very specific about how I like my place set up, my sheets set up, my towels set up. So there's very specificities. A newbie Airbnb host might not have the specifications and that criteria that we as superhosts have. Believe me, and I keep telling my hosts, you have to have a team. Without a team, we're nobody. But I train my cleaners. I don't send my cleaners out there without having them have a checklist, without properly them having clean with me.
So would you say that it's fair for a professional house cleaner that wants to work with a host that they have to be a little bit humble when they arrive, and they have to be willing to learn your way as a host, because the way that they do it for the general population is not going to work? Because like you said, they have to be there on time because you have time sensitive guests coming in at a specific time.
Oh,
There,
yes.
there are reasons you have to do what you have to do.
It's so funny because I started remote hosting this year. I had a cleaner, but she wasn't just my cleaner. She worked with another company, and she got really busy, and she went away. And while I was remote hosting, I had to hire a bunch of cleaners without me meeting them. And there was this one particular person, and this time I was in town, and I was paid a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about like $35 to $40 an hour, which is a nice rate. And I let him clean. And when I came back, I was like, oh no, sweetie, this is not to my standards. Like, I went through the entire house with him, like through the entire apartment, and like we had to do it in another hour. And he was like, okay, I will work for you for free, just for you to teach me.
It's great that he was willing and humble to meet your expectations, because once he knows that information, he can't unlearn that information. So now he knows it for next time, and he will then meet your expectations every cleaning from there on out.
Yes, exactly. I mean, because there's cleaning and then the super host cleaning. We have very specific needs. I have a host in a podcast who does her places for travel nurses. And she's like, she wants her place to be emergency room clean, like operating room clean. That is perfect. And we understand that it takes time. Look, because we clean ourselves, I know it doesn't take 2 hours to clean my place. I also know that you're going to have to do a deep clean every few guests. because this the little wraparound like that you have to do like every guest that comes in and out because you have to like change the sheets and do the beds and clean the bathroom. But then there's like, let's clean the molds. Let's change the filters on the air conditioners. Do we have to clean the windows, clean the ceiling fans, right? And those are things that are additional.
And so how much do ratings and reviews have to do with being a superhost?
Everything.
Is it
For me, it's not just even being a super host, it's the satisfaction for your guest. It's like, look, the title on my listing is stay at a 5-star Airbnb. I cannot say that if I don't have a 5 stars on my cleaning. And therefore, I compensate my cleaner with that. Look, I don't see my person as she's just a cleaner. She's my host. She's my team. She's also the front person that tells me, like, oh, we need more supplies. Oh, this broke. Oh, there's stains on the sheets. You need to replenish them. There's some issues here or there. So she's not a cleaner. She's a team. She's part of my team. And that is one of the reasons why I like to have one person with me. And I do have backups for it because emergencies happen.
a minute ago you said that you were doing some remote hosting. And so what is remote hosting for those that are unfamiliar with the term?
So remote hosting is when the host is not in town and you might be out of town and you might not be neither in the same city or you might be away or you might be on vacation or something like that. And then you need the person to be there.
So this leads me to another question, and I get asked this question about 30 times a day, where there are house cleaners that will get a text from somebody who claims to be either a remote host or it's a person who needs their house cleaned and they're from out of town. And then they just immediately assume it's a scam because the person is not there on site. So how do you differentiate yourself from the scam artists that are just trying to hire house cleaners and collect their money, or to actually hire a house cleaner for a remote property that you actually, it's a real job?
Well, do they have a listing? And the question is this, I mean, how can we protect the cleaner? Should they get paid beforehand, especially if it's a new person?
Well, one of the biggest scam alerts is that they want their information, like, will you send me your driver's license information? And then I will cut you a check, or there's somebody else that's going to come deliver a key and I'm going to pay them and they will pay you. There are signs that are kind of like, I don't think so. But I know that there are a lot of hosts like yourself that are working off site that have legitimate jobs.
What I was using was a website called TaskRabbit to get so like that there's that intimate, that person in between. And also you have reviews, recommendations from friends. And then when I came back to my Airbnb, I just went through Craigslist. I posted a link and then I just interviewed people and they went through my own process of cleaning and training and everything else. And I didn't get someone who was a professional cleaner. She cleans in hospitals and then I train her to become an Airbnb cleaner for me.
And so would you recommend that it's not going to be a professional cleaning company that work for Airbnbs? Or is it maybe like a house mom that just has that window open during the day between checkout and check in?
It works for different people. So I have done a podcast episode about that because if you have those hours, so it's 11 to 3, you drop off your kid and you're really meticulous about cleaning and this is what you love to do. This could be an excellent job for you. And you have availability. The problem becomes like you need that flexibility of availability because we have guests coming in and out between the weekend and any day and any time, but we don't have work every day.
You mentioned you have a podcast. And so I would hope that you would tell us a little bit about your podcast. I've listened to it. It's fantastic. And you also have a YouTube show. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my YouTube show is not as good as yours. Yours, I have a few episodes, but I haven't like really. But it's the hosting journey, and I talk about Airbnb, everything, every Airbnb, just to teach people how to do hosting. And the podcast is the same, the hosting journey, because it's a job, and we do. It's sort of like you have to do marketing, you have to clean, you have to do everything. And I was watching your episode about cleaning sheets and towels and everything else, and it's like that's all we go through it. And as hosts, look, our cleaner has to tell us, you are our forefront. And especially if you're the one person and the host is not there. Let's say, for example, if something broke, if something is missing, or if there's stained sheets or stained towels, we might be able to process a claim, but only if we know.
So, what I hear you saying as the house cleaner on the property, you are the eyes and ears on the ground, and you are representing the host as the representative of the company when you are there staging and restocking and cleaning and making sure that everything is super status for the super host.
So exactly. And look, I compensate appropriately. For me, it's like bonus, and it's like if we get all 5 stars cleaning, I there's a bonus. There's for me, it's like, hey, you saving my business? Why not reciprocate? I appreciate the work that you guys do because I know how hard it is. And look, there's times like yes, the cleaning might just take a couple of hours because the work's not a mess. But then when you have those kids, those little toddlers with their sticky fingers everywhere, those cleanings take forever.
Well, this has been fascinating information. And I happen to know that you have both a Facebook group where people can join. Tell us a little bit about that real quick.
So the Facebook group, also the hosting journey, is for anybody who's thinking about becoming an Airbnb host. Oh my God, we talk everything. Oh, so much conversation. From like, are you thinking about doing just one night hosting, which is a lot of cleaning because you're doing like all those turnovers. I mean, those sheets, those towels, duvet covers, everything has to be clean for just one night. But it makes sense. Oh, we talk about reviews, or we talk about the house manual, everything. So it's the hosting journey. It's a great Facebook group. It's from all over the world. So, please join.
And I also know that you have a training program where you train hosts how to maximize their home sharing profits. Tell us a little bit about that and where customers can go, our viewers can go and take a look and also hire you for that.
Yes. So everything is at the hostingjourney.com website. I have a manual for people to create in their house. It's all about communication with your guest. It's what I believe. And right now I'm creating a program called Having Your Airbnb Created with Your Heart, Soul, and a little bit of science. Because especially hosts that do their home, it's a little bit different than places that are just anywhere, right? We differentiate. We're not an Airbnb. We're home. We're hosts. And so for me, it's like creating a business where it's coming from our heart, our souls, but I also use science to tap into what our guests wants and needs. So it's at thehostingjourney.com.
You're just a wealth of information and you've got some great ideas that both hosts and the cleaners who want to be the Airbnb hosting partners can benefit from. So this is just awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And look, as a cleaner, if you just look at Instagram pages that have from hotels to design to know how to make a pretty bed, and those little things, those extra things that might tell the host that makes you an exceptional cleaner. Because cleaning, okay, you could clean, but what about that little extra? Tell me, like, oh, hey, the light bulbs went out. Oh, hey, the Wi Fi is not working properly. Give me a heads up on issues that might come up so that we can resolve them together.
All right, and that is Evelyn Badia. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I got news for you. She just agreed to come back and do other shows for us where we can get all of our cleaning questions answered so that you can match your expectations to those of your host and they can match the expectations of their guests. I know, I'm super excited. All right, so we're going to leave links in the show notes to everything that we talked about today so that you can find her podcast and her YouTube show and then also hire her for her seminars and workshops.